Hello and welcome. So today it is all about niche fragrances, luxury niche fragrances. And I have a total of 11 to share with you because I've been quite busy behind the scenes trying different fragrance houses because I told you that I'm on a mission to introduce at least 5 new fragrance houses to my collection this year. And it looks like it's going to be much more than just 5. So today I have for you 11 fragrances. Some of them were sent to me in PR and others I did purchase. And as I go along, I will let you know which one is which. But of course, I am going to give you my very honest opinion about each. Today, it is more about having a very good conversation about each one of these fragrances because they are not all a love. Some of them are alike, and some of them I'm either on the fence or just not liking. I have not had the opportunity to use each fragrance, at least 3 times or anything like that. I am ready to give you details about performance and other things that I typically discuss with you. But I want this video to be more of like a discussion because I just want to share with you how I'm feeling about each one of these fragrances. And before we jump in, I also want to share with you the lippy that I'm wearing today and the lip liner because lately, every time in every video in the comment section, I do get the question of what lipstick and lip liner and even lip gloss am I wearing. So today I am wearing a Chanel Le Rouge Duo lipstick. Now, this is a formula that I absolutely love because it is one of those lipsticks that does stay on. I mean, it stays on. It will not transfer no matter what you do. You can drink, you can eat, anything you want to do, and it will be on all day. But the thing about it is that it's not drying and it has like a dual end, as you can see. So on this side, of course, is the tint itself, the lipstick. And then on this side is like a substance that's like a lip gloss, but it's really the liquid that like really makes the lipstick stay on your lips. It's just very fascinating. This is my favorite formula from all of the Chanel lipstick formulas. And this one is in 122 Soft Coral. Now, the lip liner that I'm using today is also from Chanel, and this one is 176 Blood Orange. And of course, I will leave everything linked for you in the description box, so you can go ahead and pick them up if you are interested. All right, but before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the latest launch from Parfums de Marly, which is Castley. Now, Castley was launched, I don't know, maybe like a month ago, and this fragrance was sent to me. And I have to tell you, as you can see, it's supposed to be part of the men's line, but I don't know what is it about me, at least, and Parfums de Marly, but whenever there is a launch in the men's line, I tend to try them at least because inevitably I end up being very interested and at times even end up picking up the bottle. This time it was sent to me, but it was my intention to pick it up. I have shared with you during a Chatty Scent Corner a couple of weeks ago, the Saturday morning video, I had shared with you my first impression of Castley, and I told you that I was absolutely fascinated by it, and that to me, this is not a masculine fragrance. This is a, unisex fragrance that leans a tad to the feminine side, in my opinion, and nothing has changed. But let me go ahead and share with you the notes and some details because I'm ready to share details today. And then I'm also going to tell you if I still feel the same way about it. So at the top, this fragrance has bergamot, ginger, and black pepper. In the mid, it has neroli, pepper, petit grain, and timber. And at the base, it has akigala wood, benzoin, and labdanum. So I find Castley to be a very citrusy and very, very aromatic fragrance, but the level of citrusy accords here is quite heavy. It is definitely what you would call a fresh, spicy fragrance. And it is, a fragrance that if you just look at the notes, you immediately would think that it would lean more to the masculine side. But I don't know what is it about this fragrance, but I really do enjoy it. It's not a deep love, and I'll tell you more in a minute why, but it is definitely a fragrance that I do enjoy, and I do plan to keep in my collection. I'm not giving it to my husband. I mean, I'm willing to share, but I'm not giving it to my husband because to me, this is really a unisex fragrance that if I had to pick a lean, it really does lean, in my opinion, a tad to the feminine side. I do pick up like on woodiness in this fragrance, and it is a very ambery fragrance. But when it comes to that woodiness, there is like a hint of oud that I clearly pick up on here. But this oud is like a level 1 because this fragrance is really not about the woody notes, even though it's supposed to be a woody aromatic. It's described like that by Parfums de Marly. But for me, this is not necessarily a woody fragrance. Do I pick up on the woody notes? Yes. Are they very present? Absolutely. But for me, this is really not a mainly woody fragrance. To me, again, this is more of a fresh, spicy fragrance. I do pick up on that oud, but it's like a level 1 oud, which means that you may pick up on it, may or may not. If you're used to oud, you are going to pick up on it, but you're going to think, wow, that's rather faint, because that is how the oud comes across in this fragrance. Now, you guys know that Julian Sprecher is the creative director for Parfums de Marly, and there's been quite a bit of rumbling around this fragrance. I don't know if you know about it, but there's been some rumbling because it is said that Quentin Bish did participate in the development of this fragrance. Personally, I am not getting Quentin Bish DNA here, like his style in creating a fragrance. I'm not picking up on that from Castley. Castley for me is not a deep love. It is definitely a love. It is a beautiful fragrance, and I do plan to wear it plenty during the summer. But it is a fragrance that for me is not groundbreaking. This is not groundbreaking at all. It's not just a common ordinary fragrance either, but it's not groundbreaking. And this is a fragrance that I think is suited for just about all ages, and specifically for the seasons of spring and summer. This is not one that I would pull during the fall nor the winter season whatsoever. Because you may be wondering, well, Arahi, it's fresh, spicy, but then you said that there's woodiness present. Then you mentioned oud. Well, maybe we can wear it during the fall. No, for me, this is exclusively for the spring and summer seasons only. So all in all, for me, this is a lovely fragrance. It's not groundbreaking, and I do give it like an 8 out of 10, even though, like I said before, it is a love. The other thing that I have to tell you, in using this fragrance, I have had the opportunity to play around with it a bit. I haven't necessarily layered it on my skin, but just playing around, I've tried, to layer it with a couple of other fragrances in my collection, and it does layer beautifully. It brings that fresh, spicy accord to any fragrance that you layer it with. But all in all, this is really, really a good release from Parfums de Marly. It's just not, in my opinion, a groundbreaking fragrance. I will leave, of course, a link and a discount code to where you can pick it up at a very reasonable price because it already made it to a discounter. So I'll be sure to leave it in the description box for you. But just keep in mind that this is a fragrance that I think you and your partner, I can just see a gentleman or a lady wearing this fragrance, truly. So the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is the latest launch from Epico. And this is a fragrance that I shared with you during a Chatty Scent Corner, the Saturday morning video. I shared with you, that it was going to be launched, and I shared with you the name because the name is Thelycheeus. And, like delicious, but I think that they try to spell it like Thelycheeus. But anyway, I did end up picking up this fragrance. And I have quite a bit to say about this one. This is a very, very interesting launch from Epico. But I have to tell you that I do have other Epico fragrances in my collection, and to date, they have never disappointed. And this one is not the exception. This one is truly a deep love for me. But let me go ahead and start by sharing the notes with you. So at the top, this one has pink pepper, lychee, lemon, mandarin, orange, and pomegranate. In the mid, it has jasmine, rose, green tea, cypress, and orris fruit. And at the base, it has ambergris, cedarwood, musk, and patchouli. So as you can see from the notes, this is quite a complex, it promises to be a complex olfactory journey kind of fragrance because you have very peculiar notes like orris root. And then you also have ambergris, you have some woody notes. It is a musk-based fragrance. It has some florals, and of course, it has those fruity notes. And I'm here to tell you right now that the star of this fragrance is the lychee. And right along with the lychee, you have that pomegranate followed by those citrusy notes. Thelycheeus is a fragrance that opens up very, very citrusy. But the interesting part about that is that even in that citrusy opening, you are immediately going to pick up on the lychee. And the lychee is followed by a very realistic pomegranate note, which I really appreciate because it's not a lot of fragrances that I have in my collection that are truly pomegranate-centric fragrances. This one, I'm telling you, it almost shares that star role with the lychee, right? Because the lychee is the star, but the pomegranate seems to always be there. And in the background, and not faint or demure, you have that citrus accord of the fragrance, which comes in with the mandarin and the orange. And while you're not going to be able to distinguish if it's mandarin or orange, you will be able to tell that those are the citrusy notes and that they border on zesty. As the journey continues, the florals make their appearance, and I cannot distinguish one from the other. All I can tell you is what I do pick up is a bouquet of white florals. So there's a freshness that I really can't explain that comes in midway in the olfactory journey with this fragrance. And it is like fresh, spicy, and I don't even know where it's coming from. But what I can tell you is that that freshness allows the white florals and the fruity notes of the opening to balance each other very, very well. And at the dry down, you're also going to get like a touch of an animalic quality to the fragrance. But it's just a very, very little animalic touch, again, because at the dry down, the star will continue to be the lychee, now surrounded by all those other notes and accords that, you know, we experienced here and there during the olfactory journey. What I absolutely love about this fragrance is that all throughout the olfactory journey, at the dry down, and throughout the wear of the fragrance, you're going to clearly pick up in the background in a very consistent level of intensity, a tea note. The tea note is present. Do you have to be a tea fragrances lover in order to enjoy this fragrance? I dare say no, because again, this fragrance is all about the lychee first, and then the pomegranate, and then all the other notes that are blended beautifully. This is definitely a musk-based fragrance to the tune of like a level 3, which means that you are going to pick up on that musk clearly, and that touch of an animalic quality at the dry down, I do think is coming from the musk. But it has been done very, very nicely, and it does not take like a prominent or dominant role in any kind of way because, again, the pomegranate and the lychee are really the main stars of the fragrance, and the florals play very nicely in the background without being faint or demure. But at no given point do I pick up on a floral becoming dominant. So this really is about the lychee. I think that you can get away with using this fragrance all throughout the year. Do I think that it's best suited for like summer and spring? Wear what you want. But for me, I know that I will be pulling this fragrance all throughout the year because it is really exquisitely beautiful. It is very different in my collection because, again, it has that very present and realistic pomegranate accompanied by the lychee, which is also quite realistic. But then it has those white florals that bring in elegance and sophistication to the fragrance, which I really, really appreciate. This is also a fragrance that performs very well because it is giving me a full day wear. It is not a beast mode fragrance whatsoever, but it is giving me a full day wear with a strong projection and a moderate sillage. It is also a compliment getter. This is a fragrance that as soon as you spray it, you are going to fall in love with it. If those are notes that you are really into, this is quite the safe blind buy. But of course, I would prefer if you got yourself a sample before committing to a full bottle. But for me, this is definitely a 9 out of 10, and I am absolutely in love with it. So the two next fragrances that I'm going to share with you are from New Notes, and they are brand new releases. And I am so excited to share them with you because I haven't even had a chance to bring them to you during one of our Saturday morning chatty scent corners and let you know that they were being released. I mean, literally, I was just online and I found them and I did some research and I'm like, I had not even heard that these were being launched. But I have here for you, and let's start by talking about my favorite of the two, even though I'll tell you right now that they are both a love. This one is Mangomina D. I am going to tell you that I think Mangomina D is the mango fragrance of 2025. This is a very realistic, juicy, ripe, luscious kind of mango. You know those mangoes that you bite into them and all of the juice just drips down the sides of your mouth because they're so juicy and they're so ripe and sweet and just perfection? That's what I get from the mango in Mangomina. But let me share with you the notes so that you further understand, which, by the way, this is truly a spring and summer fragrance, in my opinion, only. I don't think that I'll ever pull this during the fall or winter because truly this is also a very, very tropical vibe kind of fragrance. So Mangomina has at the top mango, marine notes, yuzu, and mandarin. Then it has in the mid solar notes, rose and saffron. And at the base, it has amber, cashmere wood, sandalwood, patchouli, musk, and moss. Now, let me just start by saying that the fact that we have marine notes and moss should already tell you, I mean, on a base of musk, you find notes like marine notes and solar notes, and you also have the moss. That alone should tell you that there is definitely an aquatic / ozonic quality to the fragrance. And that is definitely the case. At all times, that mango is there. And that mango is sweet, it is juicy, it is just perfection. This is a fragrance that speaks clearly to the summer season. It is perfection for spring and summer, but I have to tell you that this is literally summer in a bottle if you're looking for the perfect mango fragrance. I had not encountered such a good and realistic mango fragrance in a while. The last one that I did encounter is Mango Hugoso, which is a Middle Eastern fragrance. But before that, I have other mango fragrances in my collection that are ripe and juicy, but this one is just so real. I mean, as soon as you sniff it, your mouth waters if you love mangoes, thinking that you're biting into one. But this is definitely a fragrance that has a very present aquatic / ozonic quality. And that moss is also a note that you're going to pick up at the dry down. Not dominant, but it is definitely present. The fragrance itself opens citrusy, but within the citrusy notes, the mango immediately appears. It's almost like the mango is the center of everything in this fragrance, and all of the other notes throughout and the accords and the tonalities are just like hugging or embracing or circling this mango because the mango is the true star. This fragrance has a very, very tropical vibe to it. This is truly, if you are looking for a tropical vibe fragrance, Mangomina D is definitely it. That marine ozonic quality to the fragrance is very, very present, and at times it's never dominant because the mango is the star, but it does really like pair up very, very strongly with the mango, if you know what I mean. The fragrance is also sweet. It's not very sweet, but it is definitely sweet. But it is not one of those fragrances that is just fruity sweet and it's like a fruit bomb and that's it. No, because there is a level of woodiness. You are going to pick up at the dry down a little bit on the patchouli. The patchouli brings in a little bit of creaminess along with the sandalwood, and there is a woodiness at the dry down that you're going to pick up. But it's not something that's very, very dominant in any kind of way because the mango is the star. To me, this fragrance is very much unisex, but if I had to pick a lean, I'll say it leans a tad to the feminine side, you know, because of that sweetness. But this is definitely a fragrance that I can see a gentleman or a lady wearing without any kind of problem. This is perfection for the spring and summer season for any occasion, day or night. This is not exclusive to a vacation or holiday occasion. No, to me, it is just very specific to the seasons of spring and summer. The musk in the fragrance is present. It's like about a level 2, bordering on 3. It's not animalic in any kind of way. It's very, very smooth. This is perfection for any age group and performs beautifully. You are going to get a full day wear with a strong projection around, I would say, maybe the first 90 minutes. It's not like 2 hours or anything like that, but it is a strong projection with that mango at the head for like the first 90 minutes. And then after that, it does become a scent bubble for, I would say, a couple of more hours. And towards the end of the day, it's definitely an intimate skin scent. But all throughout the day, you will have the opportunity to sniff yourself, and others will too. I absolutely love this fragrance. I give this one a 10 out of 10. I am very, very impressed, and I am so happy that I just took the plunge and ordered this fragrance. The next fragrance that I have for you is another recent 2025 release from New Notes that I had not heard of at all until I found it online. And by the way, there's actually 3 new releases from New Notes. I just have not been able to find the other one in stock. But this next one that I'm going to share with you is called Felina. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a super ultra deep love for me. This is a 10 out of 10 fragrance. I wish they had a bigger bottle because this is going to go really fast for me. This is an absolute love. This is, to me, truly a gourmand fragrance. You know, it's one of those gourmand fragrances that is not going to make you smell fully like food, but it's going to make you smell rather yummy. Let me share with you the notes. So at the top, are you ready? Oh. At the top, you have chocolate, caramel, coffee, vanilla, coconut, milk, and cinnamon. At the mid, you have caramel, powdery notes, tobacco, tonka bean, albanum, woody notes, and juniper. And at the base, you have vanilla bean, vanilla, sandalwood, amber, and musk. When I tell you that this is just the most gloriously beautiful fragrance. It is such a rich, and it's not dense, it's not airy at all, but it is a very rich fragrance. And when I say rich, I mean that the notes truly come through, and the notes that come through are quite dominant and present. I can't tell you that there's a star of this fragrance. So let me tell you. This fragrance opens up warm, spicy, and you're not going to be able to discern which spices. Personally, I do pick up on a tad of cinnamon. I'm pretty sure it's cinnamon, but it opens up warm, spicy, and sweet. Is it super sweet? No, it is just right, because let me tell you. So I think that this fragrance would have been really sweet, but the note of chocolate, and that chocolate note is dark chocolate, balances out this fragrance to perfection, allowing it to be sweet, but not very sweet at all. The vanilla comes in almost after that, like after the opening, the vanilla will make its presence, and the vanilla is quite a bit of vanilla, but it is not dominant in any way. I am telling you, there is not truly a dominant note in this fragrance. in any part of the olfactory journey at dry down or throughout the wear of the fragrance. It is an exquisitely blended fragrance, and I am glad because there's so many strong notes that could have taken this fragrance down some rat hole somewhere. But no, the fragrance blend is just perfection. And you're going to, at different times, be able to pick up on different things, which adds to the allure of this fragrance. The fragrance also is lactonic, but it's not very lactonic. You know, if I had to say, is this fragrance lactonic? I would say that it has a touch of a lactonic accord to it, but it's not a full-on lactonic fragrance because, again, the blend. It also has continuously like quite a bit of character, not just because of all of those notes like dark chocolate and, you know, and that vanilla, but it also has woodiness, and the woodiness is always in the backdrop, like adding that additional character while all those other notes play around, you know, the caramel. It is just all coming together so nicely. But this is truly a fragrance that you may be wondering, okay, so this is probably good for the fall and winter. No, the part that I love the most about this fragrance, one of the reasons that I gave it a 10 out of 10, besides the way that the blend has been done, is the fact that this is a fragrance that you can wear all throughout the year. For any occasion, day or night. There is something very versatile about the blend of this fragrance. It is a very versatile fragrance that I'm telling you, you can use for any occasion. This is appropriate for any age. It is definitely a unisex fragrance. I can't even pick a lean. It is truly unisex, even though it has that bit of sweetness to it. It is just, to me, absolute perfection. This is, of the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today, this is one that I highly recommend and that I definitely give a 10 out of 10. The next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is a very special fragrance. It is the latest launch from Micallef, and this one is Royal Blue. Now, this fragrance was also sent to me, and I am so happy. Oh, I can't tell you. This is a very special fragrance. So this one is not only limited edition, but it is also limited production. So there's only 2,000 bottles and each bottle is numbered. So let me show you this beauty. So this is the bottle, and you guys know how I love Royal Blue, that is my favorite color. So when I saw this bottle, I was just absolutely in love immediately. But then when I tried the fragrance, we'll talk about it more in detail in a minute. But let me just show you. So this is the bottle, and then look here in the back where it says the number on this one is 1435 out of the 2,000. And then look on this side, the level of detail. I mean, it is just exquisite. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So let me go ahead and share with you the notes of this fragrance. At the top, we have watery notes, fig, coconut milk, and lemon. At the mid, we have rosemary, geranium, and cinnamon. And at the base, we have ambergris, sandalwood, oud, and patchouli. So what I love about this fragrance is that it is such an impeccable combination of like floral, fruity, spicy, and woody notes. It is a fragrance with quite a bit of character. And even though it does have a very present aquatic quality to it, it is a fragrance that I can honestly tell you, you could use throughout the entire year. This is not one that you are going to have to limit to the summer or to the spring and summer seasons. No, this is an all year round fragrance that you could very much make a signature scent. You could take it to the office. This is an all occasions kind of fragrance for any season of the year. This fragrance does open very ambery, and it has immediately that aquatic quality coming in. It's also very woody. The fragrance, like approaching dry down, does become quite aromatic, and that is when I really pick up on the oud. The oud in this fragrance to me is like a level 3, which means that you are going to pick up on the oud, but the oud is not barnyardish or unrefined in any kind of way. This is a very smooth and beautiful oud. I mean, this is Micallef. You guys know, if you're familiar with the Micallef fragrances, you know that that DNA is just impeccable. And of course, this one being such a special fragrance, I can tell you this is beyond. Right now, this is my favorite Micallef fragrance in my collection. The coconut in this fragrance is present, and it is a creamy coconut, but it is not a coconut that takes a stellar role at any given point. It's almost like in the background, and at times, to my nose and on my skin, it is even a bit faint, because this is one of those fragrances where you are going to pick up on the fruity notes, with the fig, by the way, being the star. And you're going to pick up on that fruity accord, and at times you're going to be able to truly say, well, I'm picking up on this or that. But most of the time, what you're going to get is that fig, clearly, combined with that touch of oud that gives character and that aquatic overall accord. And you're just going to pick it up in a very like aromatic kind of way. I don't know how to explain it in any other way, because this is not a simple, olfactory journey. This is quite complex, which makes it even more alluring. To me, this fragrance is completely unisex. This is one of those fragrances, again, that is so versatile. Any age group, any occasion, day or night, any season of the year. It is just truly an exquisitely done masterpiece. I am telling you, this one is so worth it. I will, of course, leave a link in the description box for you, but I also have a discount code. So if you're interested in this fragrance, please take advantage of that. And I am telling you, because there's only 2,000 bottles, I don't know, how far along they are or not in selling these, but I can tell you that once people pick up on this fragrance, it's going to become like a fragrance that everybody wants to add to their collection. It is truly, truly exquisite. So the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you was also sent to me. This is Hard Feelings. The founder of the brand is Kristin Cavallari. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but, and I'm going to date myself. So Kristin Cavallari was one of the stars of an MTV reality show that aired in early 2003 or 2004 or something like that. But it was early 2000, and it was called Laguna Beach. And I used to watch that show religiously. And I have to be honest with you. So Kristin Cavallari, it's not that she was not a nice person or anything like that. It's just that I felt a certain kind of way about her, because there was another featured star in that reality show, and her name was Lauren Conrad. I don't know if you know her, but she was my favorite. And she and Kristin always had like some sort of like passive kind of beef going on. If you saw that show and you know what I'm talking about, please leave a comment in the comment section. And they so kindly reached out to me and sent me this fragrance. Now, this one is Hard Feelings. I'm going to tell you right now that to me, this one is a like, but it's not a strong like at all. I just, I think I'm just like trying to understand the fragrance. I've only had the opportunity to fully use it for one day. So, I think I have to use it more to really come to appreciate all of its facets and accords and everything that it offers. But right now, it is really a like, and at times I even wonder if I really like it. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. So let me go ahead and share with you the notes. So the notes are pepper, incense, organox, hibiscus, woody notes, cedarwood, bergamot, amber, tobacco, sandalwood, and rose. So this is a fragrance that opens up very woody, but the woodiness here has been done in a very smooth and lovely way, truly. It is also fresh, spicy. This is a fragrance that to me borders like on being a clean fragrance. You are going to pick up on the tobacco. There is a bit of smokiness that comes with the fragrance that I just think adds character to it, because it is a very clean fragrance. And at the dry down, there's a certain degree of powderiness. It also has a tad of like a balsamic quality weaved into it. It is a very, very interesting fragrance. Is it groundbreaking? No, but it's not just any run-of-the-mill fragrance. That it's not. I just really think that I need to use this fragrance more to fully kind of appreciate, again, all of its facets. But this is definitely a fragrance that you will love if you are into clean fragrances that do still have quite a bit of character, because this one does. This is very much, to me, a unisex fragrance that doesn't lean to the masculine or to the feminine side. What I love the most about this fragrance is that it has all of those notes. It has some notes that are quite challenging, but I love its simplicity. It's like understated, right? It's not trying too hard, but it does what it needs to do. It does provide a beautiful, smooth scent. So its simplicity, and I also love its performance because it will give you a full day wear with a very strong projection during, I would say, the first 2 hours. And after that, it does become an intimate skin scent, but it's one that will give you whiffs of the fragrance throughout the day. I really believe, and I will circle back with you on this one, I really believe that this one may end up being at least a very strong like for me because, you know, there are things that have piqued my attention. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you was also sent to me in PR, and this one is from Testament London, but it is Sin Poetry. Now, you need to make sure to look into the black bottle because there's one that's like a honeyed color. I don't know if this one was a reformulation or what, but I'm going to tell you right now that this is a deep, deep love. This is a fragrance that I am telling you, you have to get your nose on. This is just absolute perfection. If you are a violet lover, you have to try this fragrance. So let me tell you the notes. At the top, it has cashmere wood, cardamom, and cypress. In the mid, it has bergamot, mandarin orange, and cardamom. And at the base, it has violet, vetiver, and musk. Now, this is a fragrance that opens up very, very woody. And there is an earthy quality to the fragrance that you're going to pick up on at first sniff. It's going to be with you. It's an accord that's going to be with you throughout the entire olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. But it adds quite a bit of character. You are going to pick up clearly on the violet, and at the dry down, this is definitely a powdery fragrance. Not super powdery, but it is a powdery fragrance. There is a touch also throughout the olfactory journey of a fresh, spicy accord. Dominant for me are the cardamom, which makes the fragrance warm, spicy, and matches very well with like a bit of an ambery quality that the fragrance picks up at certain points. It's just a very, very interesting experience with this fragrance. But the one thing I can tell you is the violet is definitely a star here. And the violet to me comes across as like a candied violet. And it's a violet that will definitely be the one that gives the fragrance that powderiness that you're going to experience at the dry down. But it's not excessively powdery because that fresh spiciness that I told you about before is present at the dry down. And I think that that's what balances out that powderiness. This is a fragrance that is perfection. This is truly a unisex fragrance that you can use for any season of the year, for any occasion, but this is not one that I would, necessarily wear to the gym or anything like that because it is a very special scent, but it is definitely one that I think is suited for the ages of 25 plus. One of the things that has impressed me about this fragrance, besides that incredible scent, is its performance. But Testament London is a new brand in my collection, and I have shared with you another fragrance from Testament London that I am absolutely in love with. And this is the second one, and I am loving it too. I'm just gonna keep, picking up bottles. They have sent me the 2 that I have so far, but I'm going to keep picking up bottles because I am loving the DNA and the performance of these fragrances, because this one on my skin borders on beast. It gives me well over the 8-hour mark. It has a very, very strong projection that exceeds the 2-hour mark, and it does have a moderate sillage. This is a fragrance that I tell you, please get your nose on it. I, of course, will leave it linked, and I have a discount code for you. So Please take advantage, whether you're picking up a sample or deciding to go for the full bottle. But I am telling you, especially if you're a violet lover, you have to give this one a try. For me, this is just such a great addition to my collection, especially to fragrances that are violet centric. And I tell you, I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. So as I continue on my quest, there's another fragrance house that I have just introduced to my fragrance collection, and it is Oman Luxury. And this one is Voyage. Now I have several of their fragrances at this point, but this one was sent to me. And I have to tell you that this one is really not a love. This is just a fragrance that I think will work for someone, but just not for me. But let me go ahead and share with you the notes, and let's talk about it a little bit more. So at the top, we have pink pepper, ginger, and bergamot. In the mid, we have floral notes, geranium and rose. And at the base, we have ambergris, incense, labdanum, patchouli, and musk. So let me tell you right now that on my skin, all I get from this fragrance is that ambergris, the incense, and a very earthy, the type of patchouli that I don't like is what I get on my skin from this fragrance. So that right there was like a no for me. So this is a fragrance that opens up very, very ambery. And the musk here is very present, and it is a tad animalic to my nose. Couple that with that earthiness that I told you of the patchouli on my skin. Imagine the musk here is like a level 4 musk, and again, it is a tad animalic, and I'm just not liking it. I'm just really not liking it. The fragrance also is a bit fresh, spicy, because although it is kind of like a dense fragrance, because it is, by the way, a massive beast mode, but although it is a bit of a dense fragrance, it does have a bit of that airiness to it, and it is fresh, spicy. The spiciness at certain parts of the olfactory journey is quite a bit also. I don't pick up on much of the florals. I can say that at times I thought I was picking up on the rose, but overall what I pick up is a floral bouquet. This is a fragrance that I'm sure will be a love for someone. I will most likely, be decluttering it because it is just not a love for me. What I am waiting for is for the fall and, for the fall season to come in, to try it then and see if I feel a different way, because this is also a fragrance that I don't think is best suited for the spring and summer seasons whatsoever. To me, this is a fall and winter fragrance, and very much, by the way, a unisex fragrance, but I think it leads a tad, it leans a tad to the masculine side. I just think that this is a fragrance that I would prefer to sniff or smell on my husband. This is one that I'm going to also try and see if he's interested in it. How does it come across on his skin? How does he feel with it? But I'm still going to try it during the fall season and see how I feel about it. Have you tried any of the Oman luxury fragrances, and specifically Voyage? Have you tried Voyage, and how do you feel about it? I have to tell you that very soon I will have a video on Oman Luxury, and there's other fragrances that I have here that I am absolutely loving. But this one just does not work for me. So I'm hoping that at least I can end up liking it when the fall season comes in, because this is truly not a summer fragrance at all whatsoever. So wearing it now when our head is like in that summer mood, or when we step outside and it's super warm, especially here in Georgia with 90+ degree weather, this is just not working out. But anyway, more to come. But for right now, this is a hard pass for me. So the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is from a fragrance house that I have so been looking forward to trying. I've had this fragrance house on my list for the longest time. I just never focused on just, putting my dollars towards picking up several of their fragrances because they are pricey. But I'm speaking about Reine de Saba. I first of all have to share with you this incredible bottle, because this is just absolutely exquisite. The entire experience of one of these fragrances is just unbelievable. So here it says the name of the perfumer, which for this one, which is Balqis Reine de Saba. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but this one was Natalie Lorson. So every bottle will of course have the name of the fragrance and will also have the name of the perfumer at the bottom. And then very, very nicely in the back, it has a note from the perfumer regarding this specific fragrance, whether it's the inspiration or how they feel about it or what they think overall. But I am telling you, the entire experience with these fragrances is quite special. I have several now in my collection, a total of 4, and very, very soon I will have a video where I will talk about those other 3. But I wanted today to really talk about Balqis because this one is quite different. So let me go ahead and share with you the notes. So at the top we have bergamot, magnolia, and mandarin orange. At the mid we have black pepper, heliotrope, and osmanthus. And at the base we have musk, vanilla, Indonesian patchouli, and sandalwood. So this is a fragrance that to my nose opens with a good bit of vanilla and quite woody. There's quite a bit of woodiness here, but the fragrance is also very spicy, and at times the spiciness comes across as warm, and at other times the fragrance picks up like a tad of a freshness in combination with those spices. It's just a very, very interesting journey. The patchouli is quite present in this fragrance, so you have to really enjoy a patchouli-centric kind of fragrance. Am I saying that the patchouli is dominant here? No, the patchouli is not the star. I don't even know if there's a star to this fragrance. I think I have to use it more before I can tell you if there's a star. But for me, the patchouli is very, very present and does play a special role, a key role within the fragrance. But it's not necessarily dominant because it's a very balanced combination of that vanilla, the spicy notes, that woodiness, which is quite present, and the patchouli. And at the dry down, the fragrance is powdery for me. But all in all, this fragrance gives me a vibe of like very elegant and sophisticated. This is a very like serene elegance kind of fragrance. I don't know how to explain it in any other kind of way. This is a fragrance where this individual is not trying very hard. They just are who they are, and they're very like settled in that kind of calm sophistication of theirs. I don't even know how to explain it, but that's what I get from this fragrance. To me, this one is not a love yet, and it's not even a deep like. I'm actually quite on the fence about this one, and I just know that I have to use it a couple more times and make sure that, you know, that I don't have any other fragrances in the air because I'm always spraying, so that I can really focus on this one. But right now, this one is my least favorite of the 4 that I've picked up so far. But if you're interested, you know, in that woodiness and the spiciness, this is a very well balanced fragrance. It's an exquisite blend, but I just don't know if in the end it's really going to be for me. This is very much an all-day wear kind of fragrance. It performs beautifully because it will give you without a problem 8 hours without having to overspray. To me, it is very much unisex. I don't even want to pick a lead because I really think this is very much unisex. And I think that it is suited best for the ages of 25 plus. This is a fragrance that I think you would absolutely love. It gives me that same aesthetic of like the original Gris Charnel, you know, not the X-Straight, but like the OG. It's kind of like that ethereal quality to the fragrance. But overall, it is a lovely fragrance. I just don't know if it's really going to be for me. Right now, I do give it though a 7 out of 10. So the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is one that has been so hyped that I just ended up first trying it, and I shared with you my first impression during a Saturday morning chatty scent corner. You'll remember as soon as I share with you the fragrance, and I ended up picking up a full bottle. You know, I didn't automatically fall deeply in love with this fragrance. I really didn't, but I have to tell you that now it is quite a love. Is it a deep, deep love? I would say that it's more of a love, but not like a deep, obsessed kind of love yet. But this one is Myrrh Shadow from Bon Parfumeur, and it's the number 403. Now, the notes of this one at the top are bitter orange, blackcurrant leaf, and grapefruit. In the mid, we have basil, timber, cinnamon, and cypress. And at the base, we have myrrh, benzoin, vanilla, cosmone, akigala wood, musk, atlas cedar, and patchouli. Now, this is a 2025 release, and it has as the perfumers Amélie Jacquin, if I remember correctly, and Quentin Bish. So, of course, you guys now understand why it was, I think, automatically hyped. I'm not saying that this fragrance does not deserve all of the love that it's received. It really does. It is an incredible fragrance, which is why it's a love for me. But at all that, whenever it's a Quentin Bish fragrance, it's like an automatic, everybody pays attention. So this is a fragrance that is very ambery, very, very ambery. And it's also very fresh, spicy. I don't pick up on this being a warm kind of fragrance, even though it's that ambery. I do get a fresh kind of spiciness. It also has a good bit of vanilla, and it has some citrusy notes that, at least on my skin and to my nose, come in and out during the olfactory journey, but are very present at the dry down. The fragrance is very aromatic to the point of also having like a touch of a green quality to it, but it's just a tad green to my nose. Not very much, but it is definitely there. And the woody notes give an exquisite background of character and add depth to the fragrance overall. All in all, this is a fragrance that I'm sure you're not surprised because you either own it or you've heard someone talk about it. But this is a fragrance that truly does deserve all the attention that it has received. It is very different than anything else that I have in my collection. And one of the things that I love about it is that the blend here has been done so nicely that you're not going to be able to really distinguish once you hit the dry down. Once the fragrance is at the dry down and you're just wearing it, it's all very much about the complete blend of the notes and accords and tonalities of the fragrance. There is nothing screechy or sticking out or that at times, just pulls you because, it's so dominant. No, this is a very exquisitely done blend. This is a fragrance that's also very versatile, which you know how I love a versatile fragrance. It is unisex. I don't think it leans in any direction. I think that you can use it for any season of the year, for any age, for any occasion, day or night. I definitely give this fragrance a 9 out of 10, and it is truly a fragrance that I highly recommend. I think that you will really love it. Okay, so this next fragrance, my opinion, I think is going to be a little bit controversial because this fragrance, if I'm not mistaken, has received a certain amount of hype. And I don't know still how I feel about it. I have to be honest with you, this is the one that I've used the most of all of the fragrances that I've discussed with you today because I'm trying to decide if I like it, if it's a love, if it's a like, or is it a dislike? There are times where I feel that I love it, and there are other times where I'm like, what is this? I'm not understanding, and I feel that I don't even like it. And there are times where I'm just okay with it. So this is just very interesting. But this one is the latest from Atelier Materi, and this one is Vanille Carbone. Now let me go ahead and share with you the notes before we have a good conversation about this fragrance. So at the top it has black pepper and pink pepper. In the mid it has leather and frankincense. And at the base you have vanilla absolute and Madagascar vanilla. So this is truly a fragrance that does have a very dominant vanilla note. But at that, let me tell you that on my skin and to my nose, the second dominant note is definitely the frankincense. And overall, this fragrance for me, it immediately reminded me of Baby Cat. I mean, I'm not telling you that this is a dupe, it's not. They're not the same fragrance. There are differences, not negligible, but there are differences. But this is a fragrance that gives me the same vibe and definitely brings to mind every time I spray it, Baby Cat. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison because I don't feel that I need to because I know Baby Cat so well, but maybe I should so that I can tell you the specific differences because there are differences. But this is a fragrance that if you're very, very familiar with the Baby Cat DNA, this one is going to bring it to mind immediately. This is a fragrance that opens with that vanilla. The vanilla is going to be with you from beginning to end. I mean, the vanilla is the dominant note here. The opening will also introduce the note of leather. That leather is not demure. It is a present leather, but it is not dominant, but it is definitely present. So you have to kind of enjoy that. The fragrance is very smoky. Even when I tried it on paper, the fragrance was smoky. On my skin, it is crazy smoky. I get a ton of frankincense and vanilla. Primarily, that's what I get. The fragrance is sweet, but not very sweet. You would think with all that vanilla that it would be really sweet, but it's not. It's just very balanced sweet. Not too much, not too little, just sweet. But overall, this is a fragrance that I think is really, really beautiful and nicely done. It reminds me just way too much of Baby Cat. And on my skin, again, you know, it pulls with that vanilla and the frankincense. I do enjoy the note of frankincense, but with this fragrance, it is quite excessive. Like, it is a lot. It's even more, if you've been with me for a while and you saw my dedicated review of Amouage Guidance, I told you that the frankincense note in the OG, not the 46, but the OG Guidance is quite dominant. Here, this is beyond dominant. The frankincense is really, really strong. For me, this is truly a unisex fragrance that is best suited for the ages of 25 plus. And this is definitely a fragrance that is a fall and winter fragrance, in my opinion. I would not pull this fragrance during the spring or summer season. I have been pulling it now because I had to test it and try it to give you my thoughts. But this is definitely, in my opinion, a fall and winter season type of fragrance that you could probably use for any occasion, day or night, but during those specific seasons. The performance of this fragrance is exceptional because it does border on beast on my skin. It will, once I spray it, and I don't have to overspray, it's not going anywhere. And on my clothes, it lasts forever. Truly, truly a very nicely done fragrance. I just have to, I guess, try it more. And I also, what I really think is going on, that some of these fragrances are really best suited for the fall and winter season, and I'm trying to use them in like summer weather, and that's just not going to work. So I have a feeling that on a chilly kind of day, this will be a fragrance that I will really appreciate. All in all, I give this fragrance an 8 out of 10, and I hope that I can circle back with you at some point and tell you that it is now a 10. But until then, we're going to leave it at an 8. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on these 11 new niche fragrances that I have in my collection, and I have quite the number of fragrances coming up soon, so just please stay tuned. But anyway, please let us know in the comments section if you've tried any of these fragrances. Were you aware of some of them? Are you planning to get yourself a sample or a decant, or you're planning to just pick up a bottle? Just let us know. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.